the Marine Corps Code of Conduct, and the King James Bible.
I hate snakes, Chuck! I hate them! And may the Christian Lord guide my hand against a Roman popery!
And they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
We're on a mission from God.
Entitled, you want answers!
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
Maybe we should chug on over to Mamby-Pamby land, where maybe we can find some self-confidence for you, you jackwagon!
Coming to you live from his padded cell high atop Bethel Church, the most heralded, the most despised talk show in all of human history. This is the talk show hell hates. This is Pastor Mike Online.
And here we are coming to you live, or almost live, or in and out from being live. This is Pastor Mike, and I'm online and kind of live with you today. Good to be with everybody. I'm having difficulties with streaming today. I don't know what it is. When I tried to link up with Facebook, I got this immediate kickback saying that it couldn't do it. Now, generally, that's happened before with Facebook. Generally, it's because I said something, or I think I said something, and Facebook put me in jail for a week or whatever and wouldn't let me stream like I normally do. Now it's Facebook, and I'm having trouble keeping a solid stream going to sermon audio. Now, the only thing that I can think of could be the problem. I installed antivirus software on this streaming computer a couple weeks ago, and I noticed that I was having problems uploading sermons to sermon audio and I couldn't do it from this computer, but I could do it from other ones. And so I tried to upload again the Watchman broadcast that's out today. I tried to upload them in MP3 format, which is audio, or WMV or MP4 output, which is video, to sermon audio, and it won't upload. So I uninstalled the antivirus. It did a computer restart, and now we're having problems. So I don't know if it's related to that, but that's the only change that I've made in the computer. So we are recording it. It is, my computer's allowing me to record. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. And so we're gonna get this. When I'm done, we'll get it uploaded. Hopefully to YouTube. Hopefully YouTube's not mad at me again. Although they did take down another video last week. Something from like 12 years ago. Because 12 years ago, I said something that was medically related that 12 years later, YouTube decides that that kind of nonsense is prohibited or prohibited. Okay? So they decided to take it down. That infuriates me that they do that. It is petty censorship. It's like when we were kids and somebody called you, some kind of silly name like sissy, or you throw like a girl, and then you go running to your mom and you tell on mom, Mom, they're making fun of me. They call me a sissy. And so mom comes running out. You stop calling him that. You stop calling him names. It's petty. Whatever happened to the marketplace of ideas. Whatever happened to that? Because that's what we're talking about. Everybody's got opinions. Everybody's got views. Well, the beauty of the internet was that everybody could express their views in a safe format. It wasn't like you're standing out on a soapbox in Piccadilly Square in London and telling everybody what you think, and then they'll start throwing tomatoes at you. You can sit in your house, your car. I don't know why people make videos in their car. Anyway, you can sit wherever you want to and express your views, put it online, and if people like it, fine. If they don't like it, then they can get up and make their own videos and say why you're stupid or why you're an idiot or why you're wrong. So if I'm wrong, if I have given out medical misinformation, then all that has to happen is for a bunch of other people to make videos with medical right information. And then people can choose what they want. I mean, God is in favor of this. God is in favor of this. You say, well, I don't believe that. God said, I set before you life and death. Choose life. Now, God gave his recommendation, but he clearly gave man a choice. With the two trees in the Garden of Eden, God gives man a choice. So God is in favor of us being wrong every now and then. All right, now, a couple of things. I'm going to talk about a scientific research paper, and I'll put it on the screen in a little bit, but it dealt with the subject of cryptoterrestrials. Now, I'll explain what that is in a little bit. First, I went and looked at some news today, and there is, and I'm asking for your prayers. My son-in-law, Michael, is over in Kenya now. He is filing all of the paperwork that is necessary to keep our radio stations running and on the air, keep them licensed. They have to be licensed over there just like they would here. And because the end of the government year is at the end of June, which is just 5 days from now. So he is over there trying to make sure all the paperwork gets in, all the quote-unquote fees are paid. Yeah. However, in Nairobi right now, there are violent protests taking place. It is no secret that the majority of the people of Kenya do not like the current Kenya president. Now, from what I can see, or what I think, Kenya had an election just recently, just last year, that sort of turned south. You get what I'm saying? There was a speech given by one of the presidential candidates who said that Kenya is now in modern times. They're in the 21st century. And he said, it's time that we stop using the wheelbarrow to determine our elections. Now, when I heard that, I didn't know what he meant. So I sent a text message to my son-in-law, Michael. And I said, Michael, so-and-so is on the radio, and he is saying that they want to quit using the wheelbarrow for the elections. What is the wheelbarrow? So my son-in-law sent me a picture of a wheelbarrow. I'm not kidding you. And I went, I know what one is. What does it mean, though? He said, he said in days gone by, they would bring in, fake votes by the wheelbarrow load and dump them in and count those. Sound familiar? So anyway, they have been when we were there in January, they were protesting. And we stayed out of downtown Nairobi. Well, apparently now they've stormed the Parliament building. And there are as many as 8 or 10 people dead as a result of that. And what's funny is not everybody just has guns in Kenya, but they are risking their lives because they are fed up. The government is overtaxing the people and they're taking their land. And it's all corruption is what it is. Cronyism, corruption, politicians that just steal money from the government. And, you say, well, that's what a third world country does. It's happening here. Same thing. And so anyway, just pray for the people of Kenya, pray for their nation, the stability of their nation, and pray that righteousness will prevail. Kenya is still a nation that bans and outlaws homosexuality of any kind. They do not have Pride Month in Kenya. They don't have it. So pray for Michael that he will be safe. Pray for the people of Kenya, the churches of Kenya. It is a predominantly Christian nation, and just lift them up in your prayers if you would, please. Now, I have a picture I want to show you, and actually it's a couple of them. This is from the Natural Bridges Monument in Utah. And you know what? I'm going to change the appearance of this screen. Hang on one second. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Let's see if that's better. That's better. There we go. But anyway, this is what's scrawled underneath the Kachina Bridge. Kachina was an Indian tribe there in Utah. And I want you to notice there on the left, they got a brontosaurus. That's a brontosaurus. Listen, I've watched the Flintstones, okay? I know what Dino looks like. That's a brontosaurus there. What gas station was it? Sinclair? Didn't they have the dinosaur on it? I think they did. But then there is there's a whole section of etchings that feature the gods or the sky people. This is one of them. Now, does that look familiar to you? It should. This is what would be referred to as a cryptoterrestrial. Now, crypto means, it actually comes from the word crypto, which means dead, or like a casket, a crypt, in other words, where you seal up something that's dead. So where you have cryptography, that means you're writing in a code whose meaning is sealed up, and not just everybody can learn it or can know the secret code. Anything dealing with secrets, whether it's cryptography, cryptology, which is the study of it, but the word cryptoterrestrial is sort of the new word now that's being applied to the phenomenon. It was flying saucers for a while. Then it was UFOs for a while. Then it was unknown aerial phenomenon, but they have changed that because, and we're going to see some of that here in a little bit, because they're saying that not all of the phenomenon is up in the air. Some of it has been seen in the water. Large lakes, large bodies of water, the sea. Some of them, for some reason, are attracted to volcanoes, active volcanoes. And there are numerous pictures and video of these flying craft flying down into and out of volcanoes. So the term unknown aerial phenomenon, it's still UAP, but now it's unknown anomalous phenomenon, because no one really knows what it is. And rather than referring to the pilots of these particular vehicles, they would say to them, well, they're little green men or they're aliens. But there are theories out there that are saying that these may not be alien visitors from a civilization on planet Z in the XYZ galaxy. Okay? They may not be that. They may be creatures, and this was brought up in David Grusch's testimony. If you remember, David Grusch was the former intelligence agent who came out, and they call him a whistleblower. He's blowing the whistle on what's going on, and he testified before Congress under penalty of perjury. He could land in prison if they found out he was lying. He comes out and he testifies, and he says, absolutely, there are vehicles, there are their inhabitants, they are advanced civilizations. We don't know where they come from. We don't know where the vehicles come from. We don't know where they're made. We don't know how they're getting here. We don't know how they're disappearing. We don't know how they're flying. And we don't know the language they speak. We don't know anything about them other than just a few things. And yes, there are crashed, recovered vehicles that are being back engineered. He said that. And so for those of you whom I love and I care about, who still want to put the entire phenomenon of UFOs, aliens, cryptoterrestrials, or whatever, you want to put that just way back, even behind the back burner, act like it doesn't exist, pretend that it has no bearing whatsoever on anything that could happen in this world or anything that could happen to the church or anything that could happen to the people of this world. For those of you who want to bury your head in the sand, I'm here to tell you that the belief in these cryptoterrestrial beings and their vehicles is rising, and now the Congress of the United States, that doesn't seem to take anything seriously except patting their own pockets, they took it serious enough to where they passed a bill that set up an oversight office maintained by Congress, and it established a law forbidding the Pentagon or any of our military powers from punishing any of our military men who want to report a sighting or an encounter with these unknown anomalous phenomenon. In other words, it's now illegal. If a pilot comes in from a mission, or he comes in from doing some war games, some exercises or whatever, and he comes back and he says, on my jet there in whatever recording device they have, you need to get the video off of there because I encountered something that I know it's not the Chinese, I know it's not the Russians, I know it's not North Korea, I know it's not Israel, it's not Hamas, it's not the Kenyans. Okay, I know that they outran me, they appeared, they disappeared, they were moving at speeds in excess of 10,000 miles an hour. You need to get the video off of there. I want to file an official report. Before, if a pilot did that, he was guaranteed to lose at least one stripe off of his armband, maybe even two. They would threaten him with a dishonorable discharge, tell him that they're not going to give him his pension, all kinds of fear tactics, and he would face the ridicule that went along with it. Now Congress has made that illegal. So, I mean, I know some people have a poor view of Congress anyway. Said, well, they're all busy about worrying about flying saucers, and here we are, our roads are bad, where our economy's bad and everything like that. But from a biblical standpoint, they're not wrong. It is a serious subject. Let's see here. By the way, this is a couple other pictures from the same place, the Kachina mountain area there. That is a triceratops. Now, if your view of the history of Earth goes back 800 million years, then there's no way you're going to believe in that. Not a chance. However, if your view of Earth's history goes back roughly 6,000 years, and everything and every animal that lived on the earth lived within that time frame, then this is easy for us to believe. This tribe, and I don't know how far back they go, but apparently they saw a triceratops. They saw a brontosaurus. Now, this is from, you know what, I have the video of this. Let me see if I can hunt it up real quick. This is a video that was taken in Canada. There were some people, I think somewhere central or northern Canada. It's up there. It's real cold. Let's see here if I can find this. No, that's the cave paintings. Let me see if I can get all these files together here. This is it. I'll put it up on the screen here for you. This is video. This is video taken of a video. Okay? Somebody taped this on site and played it for somebody while they videotaped the screen. I think is what is happening here. But they heard a crash. A bunch of the families in the area went out there in the snow to see what was going on, and this is what they found. Now, this is before Photoshop. This is before After Effects. You can tell that the video itself is rather old. Those are not orbs, those are snowflakes. It's snowing. They found these weird-looking bodies out there. And they're lifting them. They're being careful not to touch them. I don't know exactly. I think they probably called law enforcement after they made the video. And of course, law enforcement probably got a hold of the powers that be, and then this all went away very quickly. But this appears to be video of dead cryptoterrestrial bodies. Again, the phrase cryptoterrestrial refers to the secretive aspect of this phenomenon. In other words, they haven't presented themselves to mankind in any realistic manner and saying, you know, we're here, we came from such and such, this is who we are, the name of our people is blank, my name is, Gax, and my associate's name is Gix, and my wife's name is Garks, okay? They haven't done that yet. There hasn't been what they call disclosure from the American government, or any other government for that matter, saying, yes, the phenomena is absolutely real. It's 100% real. It basically is a threat to this planet, and we have vehicles, we have technology, we have crashed ships. We are back engineering them. We've been doing it for 60, 70 years, and we're going to come out now and tell everybody the truth. And we understand this will probably topple all of the religions of the earth, which it won't if you believe the Bible. If you have a strong faith in the Bible, then Satan's fiery darts hurled at you will have no effect, because we have the shield of faith. Amen. Now, there is a book, actually. I found this on Amazon called The Cryptoterrestrials. I don't have the book. I don't think so. I haven't looked in my little library recently. But again, it's the idea that these beings remain secretive. It's like they appear for a while, and then when seems like they are able to sense when people are looking, or especially when people are recording them, either a photograph or video or something. They seem to know, because as soon as the cameras come on, they may hang around for a few seconds and then boom, they're gone. Are they making crop circles? There's video evidence out there that suggests yes, that at least some of the more advanced crop circles, it doesn't appear that a group of people could have done this. And there is some video evidence out there that suggests that they are responsible for this. Now, here's what brought this to my attention. Yesterday, a photograph was released by Ron James, who is the Mutual UFO Network's Director of Media Relations. Let me explain a little bit about MUFON. Now, we're not going this year. We've got too much going on, and we just decided that we just didn't have time to attend MUFON Symposium this year. I'd like to go back next year, wherever it's going to be. But anyway, let me explain what MUFON is. Mutual UFO Network was set up back in the 70s to take over for Project Blue Book. Project Blue Book was the Air Force's very, very bad attempt at doing an honest investigation of UFO sightings, especially by the military, and but not exclusively by the military. And literally what they did was they literally told J. Allen Hynick, who was the physicist and professor who was in charge of doing the investigating. I mean, he is the one who came up with the phrase swamp gas, because there was a UFO incident, I think it was in Pennsylvania or West Virginia or somewhere around in there. And I mean, scores of eyewitnesses, 20, 60, 100, I don't know, but there's a ton of witnesses saw it. Alan Hynick goes out there to investigate. He's about ready to come out with a conclusion that says, this is something, we don't know what it is, but it's something. They saw something. But he gets on the phone with the Air Force, and the Air Force says, you can't do that. You can't legitimize what these people saw. My goodness, we can't have that. So you come up with something, some reason. I don't care what you come up with, but you come up with some reason why this wasn't flying saucers, UFOs, aliens, or anything like that. So Alan Hynick, the area had some swamps in it. So he talked about how methane gas would come up and how, ions in the atmosphere would make that methane gas glow. And that's what everybody saw. But that's not what anybody saw. So anyway, the Mutual UFO Network, when Blue Book was shut down, they took over. It's a private organization. They do not answer to the government. They do not answer to the military. They simply go out and they try to do some form of scientific investigation of the UFO phenomenon. Now, this picture is allegedly a photograph from 1955 of a crashed flying saucer shot down by Red Wing pilots flying F-94 Interceptor fighter jets over the Bull of the Woods in Central Oregon near Welcome Lake. This is allegedly a smuggled photo. In other words, the photograph was more than likely taken by a military source, and it shows two men. This man here looks like he has a military helmet on. And here is a large, smooth, silvery, flying disc that has come down, crashed into the side of a hill or a mountain. And these two men are doing some sort of investigation of it. Now, when I saw this, I would have said, this looks too good to be true. And a lot of the fakes that are out there, you can almost tell they're fakes because they are too good to be true. But when I read where it came from, that it came from the media director of MUFON, and I'm not saying MUFON's right on everything, but I would say that before Ron James of MUFON publicly came forward with this photograph and said this appears to be a legitimate photograph of a crashed disc from 1955, that I would think that they would have vetted this story and they would have scrutinized this photograph, done whatever tests they needed to do on it to make sure that it was legit, make sure that there was a sort of an eyewitness trail at least that goes all the way back to this incident. And it is possible that what you're looking at is the first ever retrieved UFO photograph of a retrieved UFO. You're looking at the first ever publicly released photograph of a crashed and retrieved UFO. I think I said that plain enough. To my knowledge, there has not been a photograph released of this nature. Now, some would say, Pastor, That stuff, that's not in the Bible. I mean, you got some problems there, Pastor Mike. I mean, my goodness. You know, if you're right on these things and they're spirits like devils, how is it that they crash their ship? And how is it that these angels, so-called, or these spirits, how is it that they die? Well, I just happen to have an explanation for that from the Bible. Let's see here. Let's go to the book of Psalms. Oh, you want me to put it on the screen for you, don't you? There we go. The book of Psalms. We'll go to chapter 82. Some of you have heard this, but this is for someone who, like I said, like I was, skeptical. Because if that photograph is true, if that photograph is real, then it must have an explanation. The idea that an unknown race, or let's say unknown races, are visiting this world, making themselves known to certain people, allowing people to see them. I mean, my goodness, most of these things have lights all over them. Allowing people to see them. In some cases, making contact with people. There is a film, a documentary that came out, I think, back in the early 80s called UFOs, no, maybe the mid-70s. UFOs Past and Present, by a filmmaker by the name of Robert Immenegger. And Immenegger was approached by someone in the CIA and was asked to make a documentary film about the UFO phenomenon. He was promised that they would give him actual film from, where was it? I don't think it was Holloman Air Force Base. But, I can't remember who talked about this. One of the early Gemini astronauts. He said that they were filming some test flights from a jet that they had. And while the camera crew was filming, something caught their eye way off in the distance, and they saw this craft come down, land out on the tarmac of this Air Force base. They put their camera right on it. A little secret door opens up on the side of this thing. These aliens walk out, turn around, go back in, door closes, legs come up, whoosh, off. Immenegger was promised that film. He makes the documentary. He goes back and he says, now I want the film. I've got it all ready. All I need to do is have that film so I can put it in my documentary. Well, whoever promised him that pulled back on it. And they said, well, we decided we can't give you the film because there'll be riots in the streets. You know, it'll be War of the Worlds all over again. You know, people would be crashing their cars. They'll be panicking. The stock market will crash. Religions all over the world will fall, and there will be chaos everywhere, so we can't give it to you. However, they gave him, I think, like the first 5-10 seconds of the actual film where you see this dot in the distance coming down almost to the ground. They gave him that much, and they said, you figure something out with the rest of it. And I think they had Leonard Nimoy doing the narration on it, which is only fitting, okay? So anyway, the whole idea of Roswell, could it be, let's see here. Let me put my PowerPoint back up. Wrong side. There we go. Could it be possible that these vehicles could crash and that the occupants could die? Psalm 82 tells us. He says, I have said ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. Jesus actually quoted part of this verse. I have said ye are gods. Then he said, but ye shall die like men and fall like one of the princes. A prince is a principality spirit. This is what we're wrestling against. So God says it in plain terms that they are the gods, the evil spirits, the devils of the Bible. That's who they are. They're of the angelic realm. However, for whatever reason, God allows them to die like we die. That's the difference. And one of the differences between us and all angels is that we die, they don't. They're immortal. But for some reason, these are going to come and they're going to die. And they're going to literally fall out of the sky. And God said, like the princes, they're going to fall. And that's exactly what happens. That's what happened with this. It fell out of the sky. I don't have any information on did they recover any bodies from this or not. But that's the biblical explanation for this happening. Now, one of our good friends, Joshua, sent me this. It's a research paper. You see Tim Lomas from Harvard University, Michael Paul Masters, Montana Tech of the University of Montana, Brendan Case from Harvard University. 2 Harvard University professors, 1 University of Montana. They write this, I think it's about 40 pages. I've only gotten to the first 8 pages. The Cryptoterrestrial Hypothesis. A case for scientific openness to a concealed earthly explanation for unidentified anomalous phenomena. An earthly explanation. So, this might actually fit better into some people's idea that they would be opposed to, the idea that, do they come from some planet somewhere? Well, I don't believe that. I believe God only made life here. He could have. However, is it true that all of these things could be much, much closer to home than Marvin the Martian living 48 light years away from here? And that was the position that they were exploring in this scientific research paper. They call them cryptoterrestrials because they are concealed people. They do not present themselves to the world saying, this is who we are, this is what we are, this is where we came from, this is what we're doing, what we've been doing, and what we're going to do. They haven't revealed that yet. And in that sense, that puts them under the category of mystery. Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Because they are part of a concealment that has been taking place ever since the fall of man in the Garden of Eden, where Satan promised that mankind's eyes would be opened if he decided to take part of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, we have, I think, a reference to that. The Apostle Paul tells us, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, a falling. Think about it. Ye shall die like men, and ye shall fall like one of the princes. We know that there's going to come a falling away of mankind and mankind's religions, especially those who identify with Christianity. There is a falling away happening as we speak. Many, many, many people falling away from the Word of God. When you will not live by the Word of God, you'll fall every time. So, but we also know from scriptures that the angelic realm itself will be shaken. Revelation chapter 6, Acts chapter 2, Joel chapter 2, Isaiah 13, other places, Matthew 24, where the powers of heaven are shaken, or the host of heaven is shaken, as a tree cast her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. When that happens, we know that a part of the angelic realm will fall from the heavens to this earth. We know it. Revelation 12, 1/3 of the angelic realm. The dragon takes his tail, takes 1/3 of the stars, casts them to the earth. That's also mentioned in the book of Daniel, that he shall cast the host of heaven down to the earth. And then later on it's explained that it's because of the war in heaven, the war between Michael and the dragon, and Michael prevailed, and when he cast out the devil, he also cast out 1/3 of those angels with him. So they're going to fall down to this earth, and I think that that's what this falling away represents. And Paul said that happens not second, not third, not fifth, not 10th, first. And that man of sin be revealed. Right here. He is in secret now. In fact, he's called the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he is God, sitteth in the temple of God, shewing himself that he is God. He hasn't done that yet. And don't believe anybody that says he has. I've heard people all my life who claimed that they knew who the Antichrist was. I know who it is. Who is it? It's Ronald Wilson Reagan. Okay? Yeah. Or it's Barack Hussein Obama. Yeah, that's who it is. Or anybody they don't like. But he's not been revealed yet. So in verse 5, remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things. And now you know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery, here it is, the mystery of iniquity. Now, in my humble opinion, the mystery of iniquity is the opposite, the direct opposite of the mystery of godliness. Oh, it's wrong. Wrong Timothy. There we go. Without controversy, great is the mystery of godliness. Think about it. The mystery of iniquity, the mystery of godliness. God was manifest in the flesh, justified in the spirit, seen of angels, preached unto the Gentiles, believed on in the world, received up into glory. Now take that and apply it to the Antichrist, the spirit of Antichrist. The Antichrist being manifest in the flesh, coming up out of the pit, Revelation 13. Preached unto the world, primarily the Gentiles. The opposite of what happened with Christ, that God was manifest in the flesh. And by the way, the new translations, all of them say he appeared in a body. But it doesn't say who appeared in the body. It doesn't tell you that. God appeared in the flesh. Amen? God was manifest in the flesh, excuse me. The Word became flesh and dwelt among us. So that's what I believe the mystery of iniquity is. Because it has to do with the man of sin being revealed, the mystery being made known. The mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed. It's the only mystery, I think, I could be wrong on this, but I think it's the only mystery that hasn't been fully realized, fully revealed yet. I mean, we got clues in the Bible concerning this Antichrist, concerning this beast, both in prophecy, in doctrine, and in typology. You got many people standing in for the Goliath. Goliath is a stand-in for the beast. He is like the lion and the bear. And of course, he has a deadly wound in his head. It's exactly like Revelation 13. So the revelation of this man of sin, this son of perdition, this wicked one, the mystery of iniquity, hasn't been revealed yet. Hence, he falls under the category of cryptoterrestrial, a hidden creature, a hidden being that has not been revealed to the world just yet. And in Revelation 17, upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great. Notice the word mystery. And that same word, mysterion, was the one used back here, the mystery of iniquity. The mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints. Adrenochrome. Think about that. Boy, I haven't pushed this. Where is my button? Where is my conspiracy theory button? There we go. She's drunk with the blood of saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. It produces adrenochrome in the blood. And when people drink it, they get drunken high. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath 7 heads and 10 horns. So that revelation has yet to take place, but can't wait for it to happen. Now, Deuteronomy 13. Boy, think about this, people. God said, if thy brother, the son of thy mother, or thy son, or thy daughter, or the wife of thy bosom, or thy friend, which is as thine own soul, entice thee secretly. You know what he's talking about here? Secret societies. Secret cults. Mystery religions. where only a hierarchy know the secrets. What do you think the Vatican has got inside their library, in their vaults? What do you think they have in there? Pictures of Bigfoot? Could be. Pictures of aliens and UFOs? There are some people that said they've seen them in the Vatican library. Why won't the Vatican let people go and see what's in their vaults? It's because they are a mystery religion. And only the elite of the Vatican can know the secrets. Probably they're hiding evidence of the fact that they are totally wrong on everything. But they won't let anybody know about it. But they entice these secretly, saying, let us go and serve other gods. You see, I stumbled at that for a while. Because earlier in Deuteronomy 13, he says the same thing about going and serving gods. And I would think of that as he was saying, go and serve another god, singular. But that's not what he said. He said here, if rise a prophet or a dreamer of dreams and give thee a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder come to pass whereof he spake unto thee, saying, let us go after other gods, which thou hast not known, and let us serve them. Here, you're being enticed by someone who is close to you. And they've come to you and said, hey, won't you come sit in on our lodge meeting next Thursday? We'd like to have you. Okay? If you join up with our secret lodge, we'll take care of you. You'll never be out of a job. Anytime you need to borrow money, just like that. Pastor Evangelist Mike Hutzel knows for a fact how that works. He started pastoring this church down south, and he said not too long after he became pastor there, a couple guys came in and talked to him for a while, and they were sitting in his office, and they asked him to join the lodge. And they said, brother, we're here to tell you that if you join our lodge, we'll fill this church to capacity. And he said, you can go into the bank in this town right now. If you joined our lodge, you go in the bank right now and just on a handshake borrow any amount you want. Good old boy network, okay? So anyway, that's secret society stuff. That stuff goes on. Don't think it doesn't. But let us go serve other gods which thou hast not known, thou nor thy fathers. And the whole secret of Freemasonry is not just in the serving of these gods, but joining with them. Because practically every Masonic symbol has something to do with the mingling of heaven and earth together. Practically the square and the compass, Solomon's temple, the winding staircase, all of that. Job 4:12. Secret societies are led by secret spirits. Now a thing was secretly brought to me, and mine ear received a little thereof. In thoughts from the visions of the night, when deep sleep falleth on men, fear came upon me, and trembling, which made all my bones to shake. Then a spirit passed before my face. The hair of my flesh stood up. Secret societies are inspired and led by secret spirits. Cryptoterrestrials. Now, I'm going to read to you a few quotations from this article. And these quotations go toward just how serious the military, the Pentagon, takes in its real way just how serious they take this whole phenomenon. Sure, you've still got the naysayers out there who are going out and saying there's nothing to this. All of this can be, explained by natural causes or misidentification or whatever it is. Then, and I have a second witness to this, Lou Elizondo came out a few years ago while he was at ATIP, Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. While he was investigating for ATIP, he said a high-ranking Pentagon official came to him and he said, Lou, we want you to stop investigating all these UFOs. And Lou said, why? He said, because we know what they are. And Elizondo was like, oh, cool. So this is like some secret special access program. This is one of our ships, okay? And Elizondo said, well, what are they? And this guy said, they're demons. They're devils. And, we can't win against them. And he basically referred to this sort of this Christian underground at the Pentagon, where you have some of these Pentagon officials who refer to them or believe or are called Christians, and they look at this the way I'm presenting it to you now. These are devils. These are spirits, and I've got a second witness to that. But here's what retired Army Colonel Karl Nell said about the UFO phenomenon. He served alongside David Grusch in the UAP task force, and he said his assertion concerning the existence of a terrestrial arms race occurring sub rosa. Now, if you read the Da Vinci Code, you know what sub rosa is. Sub rosa means under the roses. And basically, in certain architecture, they would put roses or rosettes in the ceiling. And if you had something secret to tell somebody, you went into this secret chamber that had these roses, these rosettes, carved into the ceiling. And you would say things to them sub rosa or under the roses, meaning that it was to be secret, that once I tell you this, you cannot tell another living human being except you tell them in this room, and then whoever you tell has to swear an oath under penalty of death, mind you, that they will never divulge the secret either. So that's what that means. There is a terrestrial arms race. Do you think that they're back engineering the UFOs because they have a better ice cream machine than we do? No. They're doing it because they have better weapons than we do. And so they're trying to pull this technology from these crashed ships. It's been going on for the past 80 years, focused on reverse engineering technologies of unknown origin, and it's fundamentally correct that this is going on. Indeed, at a public talk in May 2024, Colonel Nell was even more unequivocal, saying, so non-human intelligence exists. Non-human intelligence has been interacting with humanity. This interaction is not new, and it's been ongoing, and unelected people in the government are aware of that. Asked how confident he was with the statement, he responded, there's zero doubt. Now think about that phrase, unelected people. We have people who are bureaucrats, lifelong bureaucrats. They work in the Defense Department. They work in the State Department. They work in Department of Interior. They work in Education Department. They're hired to work in there, but they're not elected. You see, elected people in our government have to answer to the people who elected them. But non-elected bureaucrats don't answer to anyone. And what you have, especially in the area of UFOs, you have an elite group who are the gatekeepers of all UFO knowledge relating to the government. And they don't open the gates for anybody anymore. I would say that Dwight Eisenhower was probably the last president that had full access to all government-involved programs involving UFOs and aliens. After Eisenhower, they just quit telling these presidents. When Jimmy Carter was elected president, day one of his presidency, he calls in the director of the CIA, which was George Bush. Big George Bush, not little George Bush. And he says to George Bush, calls him into his office, and he said, you know, I saw a UFO a couple years ago and filed a report. Yes, Mr. President. I would like all of the CIA files brought down to the White House because I want to do an investigation, a presidential investigation of the UFO phenomenon. George Bush goes back to the CIA, thinks about it for a couple days, calls President Carter, and he says, nah, not going to happen. Well, I'm the president. Yes, sir, you are the president. But you don't have rights. You don't have the clearance, the security clearance, to see what's going on in that realm. You don't have it. And we're not giving it to you. Now, folks, that is contrary to what Lincoln said at his Gettysburg Address, government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Whenever you have a secretive group inside your government that answers to no one and answers to no law, when Congress had their meetings with David Grusch, and David said to certain questions, I can answer the question, but only if we go into a skiff. Now, a skiff, you've probably seen these in some movies, is one of these rooms that has glass panels around it. You go into it, you leave all your cell phones, everything electronic, you take off of you, you go in there. There are no recording devices in that room. There's nothing. And as soon as you go in, they fog the windows, and you can have a secret meeting in there that's not recorded. What was said, it's like being sub rosa. Congress wanted to meet with David Grusch in a skiff and asked for the CIA or the Pentagon or whoever to provide for them a skiff for this meeting. And you know what they were told? No. You can't have one. Excuse me, this is Congress. They have the power and ability to lock people up in jail for contempt of Congress. Why don't they do that? Because the people who are the gatekeepers of this phenomenon are way more powerful than the highest ranking standing senator in the country. Higher than the president, higher than the Supreme Court, higher than Congress itself. But this guy said there's zero doubt about it. Retired Admiral Tim Gallaudet, former head of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, federal agency tasked with monitoring oceanic and atmospheric conditions, said in a recent interview, quote, I am totally convinced that we're experiencing a non-human higher intelligence. I am completely convinced because I know the people who were in the government programs, the legacy programs, that oversaw both the crash retrieval and just the analysis of UAP data. And I am very confident in these people, former intelligent, former DOD, And we are working as a team behind the scenes to advance disclosure. Moreover, when asked, is there a chance some of what we're seeing is adversarial, involving other nation states, Gallaudet said, no, I don't think so. I've been read into all the threats. I had a high clearance, top secret, special compartmented information, and I know that our adversaries, like Russia, China, don't have technologies like these. So 2 witnesses, high-ranking military men, and military men just don't come out and talk about little green men from Mars. Both of them saying, yeah, it's real. July 2023, Chuck Schumer, not one of my favorite senators. Majority Leader of the Senate introduced bipartisan proposals for an unidentified anomalous phenomena disclosure act. That's a mouthful. As reported in the New York Times, this would create, quote, a commission with broad authority to declassify government documents about UFOs and extraterrestrial matters in an attempt to force the government to share all that it knows about unidentified phenomenon. Schumer wrote, quote, the American public has a right to learn about technologies of unknown origins, non-human intelligence, and unexplainable phenomena. Now, I have a theory. An educated, somewhat guess about, let me see here. Let me go back. Where's my PowerPoint? There you are. Let me go back to this photograph. If this photograph, let's say that it was the phrase that they used here was that it was smuggled out, which could be true. But what if whoever smuggled it out actually had permission to smuggle it out from a higher source? In other words, someone who is one of the gatekeepers for all information regarding UAPs, extraterrestrials, cryptoterrestrials, and so on. What if someone wanted this photograph to come forward? The first ever, in my knowledge, the first ever photograph of a crashed UFO. What if they wanted this to be released to the government will do that from time to time. They will leak information out on purpose. Sometimes in order to see how the public's going to react to it. Or sometimes it benefits them in a certain way for people to be made aware of certain things ahead of some larger revelation coming out. Politicians will do this all the time. They will leak information to the press, information that benefits them, information that is detrimental maybe to somebody they're running against. I remember in 2000 when George W. Bush was running for president, the Gore campaign got a hold of information that George W., back years and years ago, back in his 20s, I think, was arrested for driving while intoxicated. And so what the Gore campaign was going to do was when they got this information, they didn't want to come out with it. They didn't want to, Al Gore didn't come out and said, look, I got a police report right here. Bush has been arrested. He was drunk. He's not the good guy you think. It wouldn't look good for Gore to come out with that. So what do? You have one of your hitmen call up a reporter, promise them they're going to get an exclusive on this, and tell them to look in such and such place for such and such record, because it'll show that George Bush had a drunk driving thing against him years ago. And so the reporter does exactly that. He wants the scoop. He wants to break the story. So he goes, he digs it up. He calls the Bush campaign to get a response from them before he actually comes out with it in the next morning's paper. And I remember that whoever was talking to George Bush at that time in the election, they told him, we think you ought to get out ahead of this thing. Why don't you plan a news conference tonight? Come out with your wife, Laura. Come out and stand before the cameras and say, years ago, I was arrested for driving while intoxicated. I paid my fine. I did my probation. I don't drink anymore. I don't drive while I'm drunk anymore. This happened. I feel bad about it. But let's get on with the real seriousness. And basically, they just took the wind out of the sails of that story. So, what if this photograph was meant to be smuggled out? One more piece of information that John Q. Public can get a hold of, look at it, and say, if this is real, then I need to think about what it means. To a lot of people in the world who already believe in the phenomenon, they'll pass this around and say, look, here's proof right here. This is solid evidence. This verifies what we have suspected all along, and now we have the proof. And I think just like with evolution, the idea of evolution and it being forced upon all college campuses, all public school systems, even private schools, even private so-called Christian schools, theory of evolution forced upon them, forcefully taught. The Scopes monkey trial basically made it illegal. I wouldn't say illegal, but made it legal now to teach evolution against creation. The idea of evolution has nothing to do, I think, with where we came from, but where we're going. If it's true that man came from a lower life form, a blob in the sea, which I don't believe, and that over millions and millions of years, he becomes physically better suited for his environment, mentally better suited for his environment, his brain capacity increases, the folds of his brain are more complicated, so that he is able to think higher thoughts. Over time, man's going higher and higher in evolution, where we're on the verge right now of mankind interfacing with AI on a permanent basis. I mean, AI now is everywhere. I was watching an ad on Instagram earlier today. They got a new device out. It's not a cell phone. It's not a phone-looking thing. It's got a screen. It's got a camera on it. And it's voice-activated and video-activated. The guy pointed it at a dog and said, "What is this?" And the computer started saying, "This looks like a long-haired Shih Tzu or a long-haired Lhasa Apso or something like that." And it started giving information on it. And basically AI, we're using it now to assist us in our lives. I went to my doctor yesterday. He put his phone down, pressed a button. He said, "Do I have your permission to audio record our visit today?" And he said, what happens is at the end of the day, the computer pulls the speech off of this, turns it into text, and he said, "Those are my notes for, today's visit." And it's AI. AI now is part of my doctor's way of diagnosing things in me or maintaining my current status of health, which, by the way, I'm in fairly good shape. Okay? My A1C is down, my blood sugar's down. Living the dream. I'm going to figure out where all my buttons are. There we go. Anyway. And AI is being fed to us in pieces. And we're beginning to use it more and more and more. So, man's awareness of what the Bible calls the nations of the north. These races of alien beings. And alien in the Bible means stranger, strange. They're not from here. They were not conceived here. They were not born here. They were not created here. They are, in our terms, in biblical terms, from the heavens. Those extraterrestrial races and how God is going to send them to this earth to be the gods of the new world order. And man is being, what's the word I want to use? He is slowly but surely being assimilated to that idea that these gods are going to come. They will be preached to the world as if they are our saviors. That's already being done by guys like Stephen Greer and others, Whitley Strieber. Strieber doesn't hate any of the beings that abducted him and did weird, bad things to him. He doesn't hate them. He thinks they're wonderful creatures. He's looking forward to the day when they come and join themselves with us. But you see, 30, 40, 50 years ago, man's not ready for that. You try to put it on man then, it's all going to blow up in your face. What man has to have happen is that he's got to be spoon-fed little by little. More information and more information and more revelation and more understanding. Greer talks about mankind needs to raise his vibrations. And I'm going, okay, I don't know what that means. But it basically means that his consciousness needs to be altered to actually not just allow for these things to exist, but to actually believe that when they come, they're coming to benefit mankind on a permanent basis so that mankind can become gods just like they are. All right. Let's see here. Get my music going here. Time to go. I've got much more on this. The idea of Cryptoterrestrial and the fact that they are interdimensional beings. In other words, they're not from this three-dimensional realm that you and I live in. They're higher than that, which which is basically the area and the realm of the gods, the devils. All right. Thank you for listening today. Thank you for praying. I think the feed finally kicked in and did well. We'll get this uploaded for your benefit. New Watchman broadcast is coming out. It's already on YouTube. I'll try to get it up to sermon audio as soon as possible. Remember, you're the reason why we do what we do here at Bethel. We thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your support. Your support. Thank you for your help. Okay, remember the people of Kenya.